This is TJ Legacy, host of the Soapboxx Podcast. The live stream will start shortly, but make sure you like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and tell all of your friends and family that the most infamous podcast on all your streaming services is about to go live.
TJ, what's goody? It's HB. Can I just big you up real quick with what you're doing with the Soapboxx? Listen, anytime somebody takes their platform to educate and inform the culture of hip-hop with politics, pop culture, doing what you're doing and being responsible with your platform, I can't do nothing but salute you, TJ. Keep doing what it do. Keep repping for the culture. Nothing but love and respect from me, baby. Peace.
Tell me what's really good. It's Peter Rosenberg, Hot 97, ESPN, WWE, Cheap Heat Podcast, all that. Big shout out to my peoples over at the Soapboxx, all right? My man TJ, Legacy Cole, the whole Soapboxx crew. Incredible new podcast, all right? Politics, pop culture, hip hop, even wrestling on occasion. It's all there. So go subscribe and make sure you tune in to the Soapboxx. TJ, what up, man? Appreciate you.
Peace to the planet. Charlemagne the God here. What's happening, TJ Legacy Cole? Salute to you, King. Salute to the Soapboxx Podcast. The Soapboxx Podcast is an independent black media podcast, and they talk hip-hop, politics, pop culture, mental health, social justice, a lot of my favorite subjects. Check them out, man. Tune in, subscribe to them. You never know. I'm out here looking at all the different podcasts that are moving and shaking out here, because, I got the Black Effect Podcast Network, so I'm going to be checking y'all out, TJ. All right? Keep working.
Hey, welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast. I'm your host, TJ Legacy. This is a brand new, abbreviated, shortened version of the Soapboxx Podcast. We are going to talk Will Smith, Chris Rock, Oscar fighter, but this episode is called Two Players. I am player one, and I'm joined with player two all the way from New Jersey, NYC, Harlem, all that good stuff. What's going on, Alan York?
Man. Good evening, TJ. Good evening. I was going to say I had never seen that graphic before. I do not want smoke with Bel Air Productions. Okay? How you feeling?
I'm telling you, he said, keep my name, my wife's name out your mouth. We're going to break all of that down. We've been kind of on vacation. I was away. Shout out to Dallas, Texas. I went to WrestleMania over the weekend. It was a great experience. Shout out to and I met the dude Salt Bae, the dude who would be putting salt on all the meat.
First off, we have to give him another name. We have to. Let's call him Salt Man.
His name is actually Nourished or something like that.
We could give him another nickname. Salt Man is cool, bro. Salt Man. You seen Salt Man?
Salt Man. We can't call him Salt Bae. Look, I'm very secure in my masculinity that I can call this man, Salt Bae, whatever this man identifies as, I can call him that. I'm good with it. So, but yeah, it was a good time. Huh?
How was the steak though? How was the steak?
Listen, that food was rich. Like that steak was good. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It needed no A1. It literally all it needed was some salt. All I needed was some salt. Like, they give you a little thing of salt on the side. I want to make sure I do his restaurant some justice. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna pull up the photo that I had with him. But yeah, it was actually really good. It was really, really good. The restaurant, the decor, had a really good time. And he was this dude is called his name is NUSR-ET. So Nuristi, I guess is his name. I don't know, but so I just called him. I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to, but yeah, his name is Salt Bae. But it was a dope experience. Okay. Sometimes you go to a restaurant, it's overhyped, and people are just like, whatever. but it was dope. The fact that you go in there is really hospitable. Love the vibe of it all. It was just it was all around good time. That's me. It's all, man. And he was a good dude. Yo, what's weird about it, right?
Hold on, brother. Put that picture up one more time.
Hold on. All right, what you gotta say? What's this?
What is this brother on the left-hand side doing?
He's looking at my buns. I've been in the gym. He's looking at my buns. He's like, damn, what this guy doing? Squats and deadlifts. He's looking at my buns. It's all right. He's checking somebody out, but I'll take it. Whatever. It's all
the fruits of your labor. Go ahead.
Yo, it's all whatever. It's all good. But no. So the restaurant of itself was really good. Hold on now. Yeah, it was really dope. It was really dope. I love the decor. The food of itself was incredible. Like, I don't eat macaroni and cheese. I'm one of those black folks that don't eat macaroni and cheese, collard greens, any of that stuff. They had this mac and cheese that was incredible, right? So I had mac and cheese. There, they had this mashed potatoes that which was fire. And then I actually ate. Then I got something called the spaghetti, where it was like they shaved off the steak, but it looked like it was like stringy, like as if it was like kind of spaghetti type of, like it was just a string of steak, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what it was. And it was great. And then they had another skewered steak where it had like steak and like onions on it. Everything was fresh. It was nicely seasoned. It wasn't like over seasoned where they tried to overdo it. And then it wasn't like, man, this thing needs some more, some basil or something like that. Nah, it was actually really, really good.
Okay.
Took pictures with them. Okay, so funny story is, right? I asked when they come and they greet you, first of all, I sat down, they greet you. The waiter greeted me, greeted us. The manager came and greeted us. Like, there were like 4 people when you sat down came and greet you. I love that. I love the fact that management comes and greets you. They didn't treat you like, oh, who is this? No, you came in there. Now there were some people like, me and my company, we were fly. So, we dress fly, as you say, ankles out, I mean business,
out. Yeah.
And, and she was just beautifully. But everybody else, like some people just came in their regular clothes, like, whatever you're wearing, and it depends on, so, whatever you feel. But I asked the waiter, I was like, because they tell you, they're like, yo, the man himself is here. And I was like, oh, really? That's dope. So I'm thinking he's just going to walk around. He's not going to be approachable. I asked the waiter, I was like, yo, you think I could take a picture? Because he takes pictures with everybody. Plus, he has his own photographer there, too. And so I thought, I was like, yo, can you ask? He was like, the waiter was like, he prefers you to go and talk to him yourself.
Okay.
And he doesn't allow his waiters or his waitresses to talk to him directly.
That's
hard body. I don't know what kind of level of game that is.
That's hard.
But I want to get to that level. Like, yo, these folks, my employees, I don't want you to talk to me directly. Like I've heard of that from different celebrities. Like there was a rumor that Steve Harvey does shit like that, where he doesn't allow you to, he doesn't want certain people to talk to him. Not everybody doesn't talk to him directly. Even in Goodfellas, you couldn't talk to Paulie, the main boss. You couldn't talk to the main boss directly. But the fact that he'd rather have his customers feel comfortable enough to go to him himself, that was different. So I was like, all right. So I walked up to him, was like, yo, you think I can, we could take a picture? He came over to the table. We actually had a really cool, like, fun interaction or whatever. Okay. And it was cool. It was real dope. It was real dope. He was down to earth.
Yeah, I think stuff like that really does go a long way, really. Straight to consumer. Like you said, chop it up, have a good conversation, even if it's brief. And that's at that point, you enhance the experience, because you can get a good steak at a couple of different places. But if you're going to that place specifically because of his hype and he's there to kind of like, greet you in a different type of manner. Now, I do have to ask though, like, was the service that you received in some sort of different tier? Like, do you get if you pay for this, you get the 5-star service, or if
no.
you get to meet this guys, et cetera, et cetera?
No. No matter what you ordered, you can go and talk to him, and he will come to your table. The only thing is, if you ordered, I guess it's the steak. I guess it was like the tomahawk or something like that.
Uh-huh.
He comes and does his like presentation yourself. Now, I will tell anybody who goes to Dallas, Texas, and wants to go to this restaurant, and let me put the restaurant's name. Let me do justice. Is NUS. NUS. Here we go. NUSR-ET restaurant. Now, I think he has other restaurants as well in other areas, but he just happened to be in Dallas when I was there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think so. It's not. It's. I will say this for anybody that goes to Dallas at this restaurant. It's not Longhorns. It's pretty pricey. It's pretty pricey. You know, not trying to stun on them, but you know, it ain't.
You playing with some change.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Make sure you got 2 checks. Just make sure you got 2 checks, so your bills is paid. You know. But I will say, I do like the feeling of working hard. You know, and I don't go too many places, but to work hard, save up, and go to a trip like this is my second WrestleMania in a row. One was in Tampa. I did go to Orlando years back, and now this one was in Dallas. Next year is in LA, so you already know my road to LA is. But to go to a new city, to experience the city, and then have an actual experience at a nice fancy restaurant, you know, more than what you are usually accustomed to. For those, I ain't watching anybody's pocket. It's a good experience. It's something that for me, it's really motivating because it's like, yeah, this is a special occasion, so we're here. But I was just there not because it was like a special like engagement dinner or anything like that. It was like, yo, I'm on a trip, we're traveling. But eventually you want to get to that spot where this is like the norm. You know what I'm saying? Where these type of restaurants are like your Olive Garden or more, I would say more economically friendly type of restaurant. So, but the tomahawk thing was like, I think that dish, and I don't want to, let me not say a price because I don't want to misquote it or anything like that, but it was up there. And so he actually comes to your table and he will cut the meat. I don't know if you saw the viral video where he cut the meat and he fed and the Salt Bae fed the girl. Yeah. So,
all that good stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was with my company. I was like, now you know. She's like, you ain't got to tell me. I was like, you damn right. You goddamn right. You ain't nobody. No, so but it was, he comes, he does the presentation, he cuts your meat, he'll pour whatever sauce, whatever on it. He didn't do that with us because ours was more like standard. But the servers, when you're sitting down eating your food, they will come and dish it out for you on like, it comes out in like not even a plate. It comes on like a little, like it looks like a cutting board, palette type of thing. And they will come, they'll serve you. You know, they had the drinks were actually really good. One drink, because I'm a lightweight now. One drink was like potent. There's no like top shelf,
right?
Low, whatever. It's everything's top shelf, top notch, bathroom, everything. So the decor, I will definitely recommend this restaurant. And also, it was one of those things where I ate it and I was just like, what? You ever eat something really good at a good restaurant and you're like, damn, what am I buying at Walmart and Publix? Is that not? I was like, that's not potato. That's not. I'm like, oh, I remember one time I went to Emerald's like years ago, and I couldn't eat. What did I have? Some sort of beef brisket, something. I couldn't eat beef for like 2 months because I was like, yo, this don't taste. What am I eating? Your palate, it expands your palate. So the only thing I didn't do is drink the wine because, as I said, brother, I ain't trying. I need to come home. I still need to live. I still need to live a good life. But so the next time we'll be in LA. Shout out to him. I did have that one last picture. Yeah, he was a cool dude. Very interactive. Closest thing to Prince. Yeah, I've never met Prince in my life, but this dude's aura was like he was floating on a cloud. The way he walks. I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Encanto. He moves like Bruno. Like this dude is like a phantom. Like the way he just kind of like. Yeah, he's just, I don't know. This is fucking mysterious.
Nah, man. Shout out to him. I actually had I would say an interest, no, not even interesting, but on the flip side of this, I did recently try a new steak place in New York City. The place is actually called Skirt Steak, like skirt as in the clothing, steak. This one is definitely on the economical side. It's $30 for a prefix menu. So essentially, there's no huge menu there's only a main course. You get steak that's sliced up for you, and it comes with a special masi sauce, I believe it's called. I'm sure I'm butchering that. Y'all can Google it. It's like a yellow sauce, and then they have fries, or you can eat fries. So, so you get the steak, you get the fries, and then you get a salad as well. Wonderful place. I got there a little bit early, so I would say, when I say early, I'm talking about 1
Is it like an all-you-can-eat joint where the steak just keeps kind of coming, like a not a hibachi, but like a Texas grill type of thing?
No, it wasn't all you can eat, but the steak was enough. It was like a good sized steak. The fries are all you can eat, but not the steak. So between that steak, the fries, and they also have desserts as well, which I didn't get to try. I was actually kind of full after the steak and the fries. The drinks are good as well. So if you are ever in New York, Skirt Steak, you do want to set aside a little bit of a time. It can get a little bit busy, but it's really dope. Like I said, economically friendly. And the food is good. Like, we decided to just kind of sit at the bar, so I didn't have to wait too long.
I'm sorry, brother. You said we. Is this a home?
Oh yeah. This wasn't an excursion that I made alone. Just my people. So nothing crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
The streets DM me, ask what's Alan's status. I just want to make sure I'm thorough. I'm a journalist.
Me and my people went, but it was a good time. It was a really good time. So that is my short steak restaurant wrap up. So shout out to the steaks. You know what I'm saying?
No, for real. I love a good steak. I love like all that good stuff. And I can't wait to do it. I will say this: Dallas had, just a wrap up on Dallas. I love people. I know people come from all different types of backgrounds and stuff like that. Dallas, the stadium, AT&T Stadium, was beautiful. Dallas Stadium was immaculate. $1 billion stadium. There's not a line to the bathroom. Like, they have so many bathrooms that there's no lines. You can straight into.
Go ahead. Keep that note, but I'll go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, it was really dope as far as the bathroom, the decor, the seats. It's like leather, like you're not sitting in a bad seat. Like everything was plus. They have big screens. Like, I don't know if y'all watched the Dallas Cowboys football game. There's not a bad seat at that stadium. You can see everything. Like, you may not be able to see like the guys on the field or even the wrestlers when I was watching, like directly, you could see them. But there is a big, I don't know how big this screen is. The screen is huge and it's all around. So no matter if you're in the rafters, no matter if you're down below, you can see everything. You're not missing anything. Plus they have little, like, I wouldn't say clubs, but they have little like pocket sections where you can stand up, have a drink, and still watch the game and not miss it. And even in the hallways, there's TVs in the hallways. There's eateries it was the most beautiful stadium that I've ever been to. Next year is in SoFi in LA. So I'll see what SoFi Stadium looks like. And the roof is retractable. So it was good. Then they got a place called Texas Live, which is like where the Rangers play close there, but Texas Live is it looks like a big hotel, but it has bars and everything. There is video of me riding a bull. There is video of me riding a bull, and I will just say before I release it, I'm probably gonna release it sometime next week. Professionals last on the bull 8 seconds. I did manage to go 8 seconds on the bull. However, the video is hilarious. I will bring it on next week or something like that. But
I also want to clarify that this was a mechanical bull. Yeah.
Yes, it was a mechanical bull. Yes, it was a mechanical bull. But the bars were cool. The only thing about it is when you go on trips. This happened when I was in Miami. Anytime you travel, get ready for the finesse. Like, get ready. Like, I was taking Ubers everywhere. And so, like, as soon as all right, want to go home, the Uber shot up to like my hotel's 20 minutes away. Uber shot up to like 136.
Of course, because it's you and 60,000 people who were like an Uber at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, guess I'm stranded. Guess I'll stay here. And so And then like there was one pizza spot that was open, and so I went. Slices were pretty good, but you got a box of pizza for like $10, which wasn't bad, right? Get a box of pizza. Like it was one of the medium ones. Mm-hmm. The next night they were like, "Oh, we hip to the game." They started selling the slices for like $5.
Wait, who is this?
There was a pizza place in the Texas Live, like bar hotel looking type of thing.
Okay, so this was like a separate entity vendor thing.
Yeah, from AT&T Stadium. Like if you literally go from the stadium and walk over there, and then you walk into a place like it looks like a hotel, but they have an outside area, like a patio area where everybody can sit. You can, drink. There's cops. There's a big, I'm talking huge screens. Like I don't even say it's bigger than a movie screen. And they got other things. So if they're showing games or whatever, you can see the games. You could also, like people who are riding the bull, they show you that on the screen. Great seating areas. I want to be able to show y'all. Hold on. But yeah, it was really dope. And yeah, so a lot of people, hold on, let me show you. Yeah, so I'm going to show you this right here, just so I can illustrate for those who are watching us live on the Soapboxx Podcast. Shout out to Soapboxx Nation. Thank y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. Make sure you follow us, Soapboxx Podcast. That's Soapboxx Podcast with 2X. Yeah, this is it right here.
Jesus.
Yeah, so you walk in. Yeah, so yeah, it was real dope. You walk in there. There's bars everywhere. There's eating places. You just sit down, eat. A lot of people are, it's not Android friendly. Some Androids are built. All Androids aren't built the same. So you got to do the QR code. And sometimes my phone don't want to do that. So you got to make sure you get an iPhone to get yourself a menu or a drink menu. Yeah, man, I had a blast. in Texas. Now, local Texas. Look, let me talk to our Texas listeners. Deep Ellum, y'all downtown area, whatever, mad sketchy. I don't know what was going on with people, but everybody was just kind of like, I don't know, it was like a delay. Like you talk to people, people just seem kind of off, and it doesn't. I don't know. I know the wrestling crowd is a different type of crowd, but there was some.
Can we put that on the locals? If you got,
I don't know. No, dude, but every time I talk to an Uber driver or I talk to somebody that's from Dallas, I was like, yeah, last night I went to Deep Ellum. I was like, it was kind of sketchy. They were like, yeah, it's sketchy down there. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, what do y'all mean y'all knew it was sketchy? So, people know their city. So it was okay. I went to a Latin club, did a little two-step, did my thing, I had myself a hard Long Island iced tea with a Patron shot. That's a legacy special. I'm gonna have that and a cinnamon fireball whiskey and ginger ale.
Yeah, there probably should not be a mixing of Patron and fireball whiskey at any point in time.
No, I didn't have that. I do the cinnamon fireball whiskey separate, but when I have my Long Island, I make sure that I have my Patron shot, and then I drink my Long Island. That pretty much, I'm straight.
Fair. I wanted to go just kind of circle back to a point that you made. If anyone, any architects or any developers and anyone who's looking to build something where you want people to come, I want to stress the importance of many, many bathrooms. I think I would really enjoy going to music festivals a little bit more if there were more bathrooms. I love music festivals. I'm not too crazy about due to the crowds, but also the lack of bathrooms and or access to bathrooms is probably the most annoying thing about huge events. So shout out to Jerry. He can't get the Cowboys right, but he got the stadium right. Also, and mind you, I'm a guy, so our bathrooms move a little bit quicker. So I couldn't even imagine how the lines are for women.
Clean.
Everything. A1, yes, yeah.
Everything was immaculate. Their staff, the cleanliness. I didn't sit on the seat. When you sit on the seat, you're like, yo, this looked like it's everything from the seats to the bathroom. Everything was sanitized. Everything, it was an incredible experience the stadium. And I really, honestly, until you said that, I didn't realize that, none of the bathrooms were a mess. None of them. Like, they were all immaculate. Some bathrooms you go in, you're like, damn, what the hell? Like, it smelled like nothing. Everything smelled like fresh cakes.
It's a big deal. Listen, cleanliness is next to godliness, and that's one of the things that keeps me going back to a venue, is if I know that I can have a good time there. So shout out to Jerry's World, man. Shout out to WrestleMania, the WWE fanatics, the fans, and glad you had a good time out there, fam.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, brother. The invitation next year in LA. I think LA needs York, man. LA needs Alan York.
I agree.
You're more than welcome, brother. I'm probably gonna do a Friday to a Monday. It's only gonna be for a weekend. WrestleMania is 2 nights, so it's already it's gonna be April. What's next year's? It's gonna be April. I think April the 2nd and the 3rd, or something like that. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna do it real. April 1st and April 2nd. So I'll probably get there the 31st for the Friday, do some LA shit, and then that Saturday WrestleMania, Sunday WrestleMania, and the Monday we out going home. So I'm just letting everybody know, because some people hit me up and was like, yo, man, that looked like a lot of fun. This is the second time you've been to WrestleMania. It looked real dope. Like, it's a blast. If you've never been to an actual wrestling event, you may not be like, I may not be into wrestling. I haven't seen it. I will say this: the rumor has it next year, The Rock will be there.
Okay.
So if you want to, he says, are you? What's up, Maya? Shout out to Maya. Are you coming to California anytime soon? Who knows, Maya? Possibly. I may be in California. I know my homeboy Mike. He lives out in San Diego. I haven't been back to. Last time I was in California, I went to Temecula to his wedding, which was really beautiful out there near San Diego. So I will there. Of course, I will definitely. I wouldn't dare go around your city without flapping pigeons and letting people know that I am there. And getting the pass. What do they call it? A check-in, Alan?
Yeah. Get a check-in for sure.
Yeah, and I also need a guide, because I also need to know what colors I cannot wear. I know red and blue is out, so I might just wear gold, but I don't want to fuck with the Latin Kings or anything like that, because WrestleMania is gold. So I got to figure out what I got to wear.
Listen, I think if you at Sci-Fi, you're okay. I think those are neutral grounds.
You said what?
I said I think WrestleMania is neutral ground. Yeah. You should be okay.
No, absolutely, man. No, anytime you want any advice, just hit me up. You can do that. I don't mind anybody when it comes to journalism and stuff. And shout out to everybody. Let me just talk about this real quick. I know I broke a story that actually made international news about Keontae Johnson, the Florida basketball player, former Florida basketball player who collapsed on the court. He's actually being formerly accused of sexual assault of a 19-year-old woman who at a pool party, there was drinking involved. He wasn't drinking, for any accounts that I have or anybody that I've interviewed. But it's a larger conversation about consent. It's not that I'm not going to talk about it on the Soapboxx podcast. However, I'm going to wait onto whether or not he's going to be charged, or whether or not, if they don't file any charges, to have a larger conversation about consent. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So I do want to make sure that when we have this conversation, as you can see, our ladies are not here. And so I do not want to have that conversation with just the two fellas on the podcast. I want to make sure that we get our women to give their input, share their experience. And so that's why I'm holding off on having that conversation. But I do want to thank anybody who has reached out to me to say, congratulations. It's a weird thing because people say congratulations, but you're still dealing with someone. I know that they're saying congratulations because the story broke, and I broke a story, and it's good for the career and everything. However, it's still a 22-year-old young black male, and a 19-year-old woman who feels like she was violated, and she's an accuser, and she deserves to have her truth be told. However, there's still a 20-year-old man who's been accused of something, and his life is in the balance, and he could face up to almost 30 years. So I get it. There are people that are supportive of me. but I want to be sensitive to the topic and understand that this conversation is larger than myself, and that, you know, we do need to have a larger, broader conversation, which I want to make sure that we have all of the pieces involved to do our audience on the Soapbox justice to do that. But the story did break international news. Shout out to Miami Herald, USA Today, Bleacher Report, 24/7 Sports. I'm forgetting. There's a lot of. It made Switzerland. It was in the UK. Some other, you know, international publications. Yeah, so it was a big story for someone who is a prominent athlete because of the things that he's going through. But also, you know, anytime you're dealing with college athletes and you're talking about women and you're talking about sexual assault allegations, it deserves to have that story be amplified, just so that, you know, we can figure out what's going on, and it will play out in the judicial system, or, you know, as things are getting investigated. But yes, I did break that story, and, you know, as much as I'm thankful to the publication that I wrote those stories for. Just let everybody know, as a freelance journalist, my home is first and foremost the Soapboxx Podcast. This is my home. So even though you saw that I was writing for another publication, I just want to let everybody know the Soapboxx Podcast broke that story, in which this will be our second story that we broke. Because if you guys remember, our Soapboxx Podcast historians, we actually broke the national story of the bunny being the homeless guy. Yes, that's how we launched. The Soapboxx actually launched with that breakout story, that actually made TMZ and everything like that. So thank you for everybody who's been rocking with us. I'll continue to be writing stories, but anytime I write a story, anytime you see me I was on ESPN Radio, ESPN Gainesville, anytime you see me do an interview, I am the Soapboxx. Alan is the Soapboxx. Giovanni is the Soapboxx. Jesse is the Soapboxx. It is the Soapboxx first, no matter what publication that I'm writing for. So you may see another publication say, oh, reports as from publication X, Y, and Z. However, if you see my name on it, know that story first came from the Soapboxx Podcast. So it is. So shout out to us. And I would not be able to do anything that I do as far as journalism wise. They all knew about it ahead of time before any other publication knew that the story was going to break. I always consult with my team, and we're moving forward. So I don't know if you wanted to, you know, say anything about that.
No, I mean, I think first off, you know, congratulations for yourself for the journalistic accomplishment. In regards to the case itself, I definitely agree with having a larger and broader conversation with more nuanced minds, specifically, of course, women and our Women of the Soapboxx Podcast. So we'll definitely get into that at an appropriate time.
Yeah, I wouldn't dare. But listen, we have, like we said, it's going to be an abbreviated Soapboxx Podcast show, but we were off on vacation, as we talked about, during the most controversial moment with the Oscars between Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. So before we get to it, I'm gonna go ahead and play our intro. This episode is called Two Players, and I'll be player one. I'm sure Alan's gonna be player two, right? And we are going to debate, because I'm sure Alan has a different take than I do on the Oscars fiasco. So let's go ahead and get into it. Two players. We're gonna talk about the Oscar fight. So let's talk about it. Alan, I'm going to let Alan, even though it's player two, we're going to flip a coin. I'm going to let you go ahead. As we know, everybody knows not the Soapboxx, the Oscars. Will Smith, Chris Rock. Chris Rock makes a joke. I'm sure everybody's seen the clip. We just had our intro, our Street Fighter intro. Everybody's seen the clip. Chris Rock gets on stage. He starts making jokes, poking fun at people in the crowd. Then he goes to Jada, says, Jada, can't wait, love you, can't wait to G.I. Jane 2. Everybody starts laughing, including Will. Starts laughing. Camera pans to Chris Rock. All of a sudden, Will Smith gets on stage, kind of does a little pin player walk, open hand smacks Chris Rock. Everybody thinks it's a bit. Everybody starts laughing. Chris Rock goes, hey, Will Smith just slapped the shit at me at the Oscars. And then he goes, keep my wife's name out of your bleeping mouth. Keep my wife. He said it twice. And then Chris Rock was like, mother, okay, all right. Here he goes, all right, I will. And he had some restraint. Will Smith did not get removed from the Oscars. He actually went on to win Best Actor award. But before that, he had to be restrained by Lonzo from Training Day in Medea. Decided that they were going to calm Will Smith down, calm Will Smith down, and Bradley Cooper, because apparently Bradley Cooper is in a lot of black folks' business. He's just around, like he's like an honorary, like he's always around. Even Dave Chappelle made reference that Bradley Cooper is just always around black folks.
I don't know who Bradley Cooper is.
Bradley Cooper was in The Hangover. He was in The Hangover. He was also in.
Oh, okay. Just Googled him. Yes.
Bradley Cooper's in The Hangover. He was also in Wedding. He was in Wedding Crashers too.
Yes, definitely familiar with his work now that I'm looking at his picture.
Yes. Shout out to you, Lisa. What's up, Lisa? We were off. For those who are looking for us, we were off last week and I think a few weeks. We were off. The ladies aren't back yet, but the fellas are here. So we're doing 2 plays. We talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock. So I want to hear from Mr. York. All right, I'm gonna give him the first. I'll give him the first blow. Yes. Also, shout out to the Blurds. He's also Rocket. If you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, he does the voice for Rocket. The raccoon.
I haven't seen it, but good for him.
You ain't seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
No. Though the Galaxy does need Guardians.
What is no? No Marvel?
No. I do not own a Disney subscription.
Brother. Okay, brother. We got to talk about that off camera because yeah. How do you not know? Like, all right, I'm offended. I am offended by that, Lisa. I apologize for Alan's take on not watching Guardians of the Galaxy. I think there's 2 Guardians of the Galaxy. Did you not see Endgame?
I've seen no galaxy get guarded.
Wait, how many Marvel? Have you not seen any of the Marvel movies?
No, I don't think so. And because I feel like there's like a rabbit. Like I feel like
rabbit.
No, a rabbit hole. I feel like I'm so far behind that I've just conceded that I'm just not gonna watch.
I
will have to watch all of them. So I got to. Exactly. So I'm not good at moderation. So I'm just like, I haven't seen all of them since 1983. This just isn't gonna work for me then. So I quit.
Yo, shout out to Lisa. Lisa, shame him. Yes, shame. Yes, you need to catch up on Marvel. The only thing I haven't watched yet is Moon Knight and Morbius, which everybody said Morbius was awful, and it came out this weekend. I got to go see it. So, hopefully, Blurds would let me know what else. Hold on, Lisa, a 10-year-old caught up in one singer and watched all 24 movies. Yeah. I definitely. I'll school him. I'll get with him, man. Yeah,
sounds like
ladies and gentlemen, I apologize on behalf of the Soapboxx Podcast for Alan's take on not watching the Marvel movies. Yes, one summer. All right. So, Alan, what was your take? Give me your take, right, on the Will Smith incident at the Oscars. Give me your overall view.
Well, I was asleep, so I woke up and people were like, "Did you see Will Smith do such and such?" So I was like, I don't know what these people are talking about. So whatever. I saw the footage, and to me, I take myself out of the equation as far as what I thought was right and what I thought was wrong, because I do feel like I am not equipped to tell a man how to run his household and overall and totality. And inclusion of running your household is, and one of the most important things is protecting your wife, right? Protecting your spouse.
You think he runs his household?
yes, I do think that he is, even if he is a co-owner, he runs his household. I mean, even if you want to say it's 50-50, even if you want to say it's 40-60, he is a dominant figure and a person who has a title of being the man of the household, if nothing else. So it's hard for me to sit here and chastise him for doing what at the time he felt was necessary to, whether it be possibly comfort and or show to his woman that he has her back. I feel like the dynamic that he has with his wife is only something that those two know about. And I do think that that includes how she feels the need to be protected. So it's really hard for me to say what he shouldn't and should have done. Well, I can say that, but I can't say if it's right or wrong. So that's my first thing. Like, if you felt that this was the proper way to maybe show that he has her back, then, who am I to say that he's wrong? Now, he did say that he was wrong, and that could be the aftermath. Were there other ways that could have been handled? Of course. But you really don't know what the straw to break the camel's back is going to be. I did see that a couple of years previous that Chris was speaking about Jada Pinkett on stage, and for lack of a better term, just diminished and downplayed her career as an actor, just in totality. He was saying, I think the joke was, Jada Pinkett boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I mean, yes, that's a hilarious joke, but if you're a person who takes your craft serious, you definitely don't want to be scolded about your profession that you take seriously in that manner. Cool. A lot of time passed. This happened, and then so I'm a person where I feel like the reaction a lot of times is kind of like, I won't say the last defense, but like the very last alternative. So it kind of felt like Will had to do that. It may have been a desperation, but something switched in his head to make him feel that was most necessary at that point. So, I hated that. I do hate that it overshadowed a lot of the things that happened in the award show. The documentary Summer of Soul that Questlove ended up winning right when Chris Rock was presenting was amazing. It's an amazing documentary. I saw it a couple of times. I am definitely biased.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's wonderful. It's on Hulu and all of your illegal bootlegs. But of course, me being from Harlem, I'm a little bit biased about that as well. But obviously not that biased because the Academy felt the same way. But yeah, I mean, of course, there's nuances to it, but I won't be too hard on Will. I do feel bad for Chris Rock as well, because that is, if nothing else, it's an embarrassing moment. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to be embarrassed in front of your peers. You don't want to be embarrassed in front of the world, no matter what you did. So I do feel for him. And I feel like a lot of sympathy was put immediately towards Will, which is something I don't think I've ever seen before, the way that the aggressor got a lot of sympathy, at least in certain circles. Of course, you had the other ones that were being extremely dramatic and calling him all sorts of things and trying to take away some of his projects. But I did see like a lot of people like, yo, what's up with Will? Like it's just interesting that the aggressor got that, which normally doesn't happen. But I'm gonna kick it to you to give your overall thoughts, and then we can kind of bounce back and forth.
Well, I think it's very simple. The reason here on the Soapbox, I have interviewed a lot of comedians, right? We have interviewed a lot of comedians, right, on the platform. One of which is Tony Rock, actually, because and Tony Rock is probably one of the most purely funny. It was like I almost named the episode "Effortless" because his comedy was just simply effortless because he just looked like he wasn't even doing like a setup. It was just him talking and just being completely hilarious, right? But I always look at comedy as the last authentic art form that we have, right? People talk about cancel culture. People talk about people being overly sensitive. There's a certain latitude that we give comedians to push the envelope when it comes to comedy. Chris Rock, everybody knows Chris Rock can push the envelope. When you go on the Oscars, everybody's trying to create a moment. Do I think Chris Rock's joke was malicious towards Jada? Absolutely not. I don't, because if you think about it, people talking about, well, Jada has alopecia. Oh, he shouldn't have said that. He never said anything about Jada's head. He just said, and that's the beauty of comedy, he just said, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. A comedian allows you to interpret his punchline however way you want to actually interpret it, right? If Chris Rock wanted to go on there and have a roast of Jada Pinkett, he really could have said something more, worse. For instance, I don't know if anybody's seen Ricky Gervais, comedian who hosts the Golden Globes. Notoriously brutal when it comes to Hollywood. Checks Hollywood all the time, makes them, lets them know, hey, don't take yourself too seriously. I'm going to say whatever I got to say. He came out and said, I wouldn't have talked about Jada's bald head. I would have talked about her boyfriend. Like, that was a quote. Like,
hey,
he was.
Yeah. I think that.
And he was. Yes, Ricky Gervais, you're right, Lisa. Ricky Gervais goes off on anyone. Mm-hmm. What I didn't like is the fact that Will Smith laughed at the joke, right? And then he saw Jada's reaction, and then we're going to freeze frame that. And he decided, okay, I got to do something, right? I'm going to freeze frame that. We also talked on the Soapboxx podcast about Laverne Cox, right? A transgender woman who is a correspondent who made an entanglement joke that Lisa Ray actually went on her platform on Fox Soul and said that was ill-timed, it was inappropriate. Mm-hmm. Will also laughed at that. Will and Jada both laughed at that joke that was told and kind of brushed it off. So freeze frame back to the Oscars. Will is laughing. What I didn't like, right? And first of all, when Will Smith decided to go up on stage, he didn't go on stage to protect Jada. Will Smith decided, I have to exude this hyper masculinity to show my wife that she has not further emasculated me all over in front of millions of people throughout the whole entanglement thing. I now have to prove myself to her. What he did was showcase his insecurities for the whole world to see. Because I'm telling you, if your woman is in danger, trust me, all day, every day, I'm with the shits. If your woman is in danger, someone disrespects your woman, you need to make sure that you are there to help protect her, not because she can't do it herself. And I know a lot of people have said, well, him doing that made her seem like she's some sort of damsel in distress. No. And I will say to you this. Show me a woman that leads her relationship. Show me a happy relationship where the woman is calling all the shots, right? It's a partnership, right? It is a partnership. It's give and go. But most times, right, in household, when it comes to their roles, men are given the protector provider role. Now, some people may say that's a very archaic way of looking at relationships. But when you look at the dynamics of relationships and you talk to women, right? That's what they like. They want a man to be a man. They want to make sure that a man is going to be a provider. A man is. I feel safe around him, not only physically safe, but safe to be myself, safe to be loved the way I need to be loved. That's the sense of security that most women want to feel in a relationship, right? Will Smith, Jada was not in danger, right? She gave him a look, right? And then he went up on stage and then he smacked Chris Rock. But the way he did it was like on some sucker shit. He smacked Chris Rock, but he came up there, not in any hostility. He came up there as if it was playful because Chris Rock was like, here comes King Richard. He came up there on some like, sucker punch, smack him. I don't like that. That's beta male sucker stuff, Alan. If you want smoke with somebody, you let them know. You get smoke. You don't sucker punch somebody, and that's what he did. Especially someone who's almost a foot shorter than you. You got 50 pounds on him, and you know Chris Rock ain't about that life, right? And I also don't think that Chris Rock would have slapped any white comedian if they made any joke. He wouldn't have slapped any white comedian. He wouldn't have slapped anybody from the LGBTQ community. What bothered me in the take that I didn't hear nobody else say, right? What bothered me the most is that the reason Chris Rock wasn't protected is because our society has a hard time viewing black men as victims. Whether it's a black male giving violence to him, a woman violence, police violence, any sort of violence towards a black man, he is not viewed as someone that can actually be a victim in that situation. If he had done that to anybody, Bradley Cooper, anybody, right? Let's take gender out of it. Ricky Gervais, Will Ferrell, anybody. They would have never thought it was a joke. They would have never thought it was a bit. It would have been immediately mortified, and they wouldn't have asked the other person, "Do you want to press charges?" There's something called the victimless crime. They would have just arrested Will Smith on the spot and escorted him out. But with Chris Rock and the fact that Will Packer, FAMU alumni, Will Packer was the producer, Will felt emboldened to go ahead and do some sucker shit on that big stage. What I don't like about it is that when a black person of prominence, and we all know this, anytime a black person of prominence does something, right? Anytime there's something going on in our community, we are all that black person by proxy. So you now did something at the Oscars. So now when everybody has to go to work, everybody got to give their take on, hey, what'd you think about Will? What do you think about Will Smith? And it just looks like Shannon Sharp said it. It's bad because it's us. We already have this stigma of black men being violent and having this, violent genes, some people say, or as Hillary Clinton says, super predators. Now, Will Smith, who's one of the nicest Negroes out here, goes out and smacks Chris Rock on stage in front of an international audience. And so now it looks bad on everybody, right? And Chris Rock was you're right, Lisa. Chris Rock was a presenter. He wasn't even hosting. And you're right, he wouldn't have smacked the Rock. And my mother used to say a saying, right? It's a Trinidad. She goes, "A monkey knows which tree to climb," which means you know who to have smoke with and who not to have smoke with. He did that because he felt like he could get away with it, which makes Will Smith, in this instance, a bully. It makes him a bully. Now, he took his insecurities that he has for his internally with his wife, bled on to somebody that has nothing to do with, right? 9 times out of 10, when you're dealing with people who are rude to you in this world or out there in whether it's the service industry, whatever, a lot of that stuff has nothing to actually do with you. It has something to do with what's going on with them personally, right? And then she came out and said, because I'm reading here from Us Weekly, it says, the headline says, Jada Pinkett Smith wishes Will Smith didn't slap Chris Rock at the Oscars, and they agree he overreacted. So now that he went and defended her honor, she's now coming to throw him under the bus, saying she didn't need to be protected, wish he wouldn't have done that. He overreacted. And so you can tell that this relationship, this marriage is not equally yoked. You already had a man crying on TV, on social media. He's already a meme. He already has this stigma around him. You always talk about some other dude that is your first love. They're talking about entanglement with August Alsina, all sorts of stuff. Now you're throwing him under the bus, saying that, you wish he didn't slay, and you didn't. I saw another quote saying that you don't need saving. Like,
let's hold on. I'm
gonna just go ahead and say this, right? And I'll let you. Can we just say, and I know it's not popular to say this when it comes to a relationship, and men usually get all the heat in relationships. Can we just discount that maybe Jada is just not a good wife for Will? Maybe she's just the wrong, and you can't keep trying to prove your love to someone. Maybe she's just the wrong person. Maybe he just needs to divorce her. I'm not a big proponent of divorce, but in this type of situation where you know that someone who is with you just does not have your best intentions and everybody sees it, like it looks hard. Like this dude is having a breakdown because internally he's not being supported by his wife, and she doesn't look. Anytime a woman does not respect her man, the relationship will fail. Period. I'll let you go ahead.
So a couple of things, just kind of rewinding back. I don't think, and I don't like when people make the correlation with anything about the entanglement with the joke that Chris Rock made, because the quote unquote entanglement or whatever happened between her and August Alsina was a consensual situation that both parties have put on the forefront, right? So there's, if you want to make jokes about that, understand that, I kind of did that on my own. I'm giving you this content to make jokes about on purpose. You know what I'm saying? With what is not consensual is, her medical condition. And a lot of times it's not consensual that she is bald. It's just one of those things that happens and is a side effect of her condition. And nobody knows more how that affects her when she goes home at night than Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think the two jokes are kind of are similar in nature or as far as the root, though we may think so because they're celebrities.
But the joke wasn't specifically about her being bald.
It was. There's literally no other way to take a G.I. Jane joke. That was literally the entire marketing of G.I. Jane. That's her going to the bathroom, shaving her head bald before she did XYZ. And so we're being obtuse. No, we're being obtuse to be like, who maybe it's not. No, that was literally G.I. Jane's whole thing. It's like, she cut her hair off and she became this person. You know
badass. She was a badass. So
she was. Yeah, but we know it's the hair. That is it. So in regards to that, I don't know. And then I'm not a big fan of the whole if this person was a part of this community, then he wouldn't have did it. And all of these ifs is if it was if we all be drunk. But we seen him when Will Smith felt disrespected when he was overseas, and a guy did a little cheek. When he thought he was being,
because he was in dating. Now that's provoked. That's different. He was provoked. Someone put their hands on him.
So listen, what did he? Not only was he a male, not only he was a white male, he was a member of the LGBT community, from what I understand. So that checks all of the boxes of the people you think that he wouldn't do such and such for. But he hit him, right? Please, no, I'm feeling a certain way right now.
Alan, that's different. And I don't look. And let me clarify, because I don't want anybody to think that on site means on site. I don't want anybody to think, hey, TJ would just let anything slide. First of all, the only time I think that you are justified, right, if someone touches you, right, in an unwanted way, right, invade your space and put their hands on you,
right,
if someone spits on you, or if if some dude out here decides he wants to call you a nigger or call you the N-word, you have every right to ball up the power of the ancestors in your hand and do that. Now, the freedom of choice, like we talked about the dude in Tampa at the Dunkin' Donuts, who slapped the old guy who started saying racist stuff about him. He ended up getting, I think, probation or something like that. But people just can't say whatever they want to you, right? But it depends. There's context to it. You don't do what you did on stage like that.
I mean, and I think that's a fair critique. I think the time and place thing is an extremely fair critique for sure. And not even when I say time and place, it didn't even necessarily have to be somewhere else. It could have been backstage or whatever. But as stated, he did what he felt he needed to do at that time. Obviously, he doesn't feel that way. And additionally, in regards to what we're saying, or what a lot of people online are saying, and you mentioned it, there's really no reliable source to say to what Jada said or what we think she said. All of that is just screenshots from somewhere, from people in Nowhereville. So I'm sure
she was quoted in the article.
She was quoted by nobody, an anonymous source. you know how the journalism game plays. It's not by quote unquote.
Hey, wait a minute, brother. My source. Hold on, wait a second. My sources are ironclad, brother.
The U.S. the U.S. Today, or all of those places that don't actually quote anywhere.
What you're trying to say is that they're not the Soapboxx podcast where the sources
of course,
are
there's no.
Okay,
there's no
other, I don't know how they do their journalism, but yes, you're right. Yeah, I get it. I agree with you.
We can call it shade room journalism. You know what I'm saying? That shade room journalism is not exactly concrete. So I don't even want to get into what she thinks. But even if she were to think that,
have to get into why you hate the shade room one of these days.
we also agree that Will would agree with her as well if that is true, based on his apology that he wrote the next day. So I don't think she's doing anything to go over him, or if they're in agreement in that fact, then they're in agreement. I just don't like the whole, the if, ands, or but of in regards to who could it be, and then the same way that you said, if someone called me the N-word, then you have the right to react to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's because that's your trigger, that's my trigger, that's a lot of people's trigger. If Will Smith decided that joke was a trigger for him and reacts the same way, who is, why are we now censoring people's triggers? Because it's not.
But was it a trigger for
because
him?
It doesn't.
Was it a trigger for him, or was it a trigger because he's like, I don't want to deal with this when I get home?
But that could also be a trigger. The trigger could be the consequences if you don't do something, right? Like, nobody knows the household more than him, is what I'm saying. And though I wouldn't necessarily have done that in that moment in time, I stated I can't really tell a man how to defend his queen and when to defend his queen if he felt he had to do that. And I also do think it was obviously, I think a lot of people feel that it was more than just Chris Rock per se. It was just a lot of pent up aggression. And lastly, I'll push back and I won't necessarily say it was a sucker punch. If someone's coming at you directly right after they made what they could.
Alan,
if I'm walking to you directly after you said something that could be a borderline offensive joke, the fact that he said, he's coming up here, lets him know that obviously you don't think that he's going to smack
that's
him.
Like me
it's
knowing
not a sucker punch. He
walked
like right up to you.
For instance, all right, so check it. I know a comedian, like say Vince Taylor, right? Vince Taylor has been a comedian. He's on here, right? If Vince knows me and makes a joke about my lady, whatever, and he says that, and he sees that I'm laughing, and then all of a sudden I get up on stage and I'm walking up, and he goes, right? He's not gonna think I'm coming up there during the damn Oscars.
No, it's definitely shocking, but I'm not gonna say sucker punch. It wasn't blindsided, it was face to face. Just because you may not be expecting it, I don't think it makes it a sucker punch.
Oh, so basically what you're saying in life is keep both hands up at all times. Keep both hands up.
Have your fighting shoes on.
Keep both hands up at all times. Protect yourselves at all times is what they say.
Yeah, and I also do think that Chris did well in that situation. Last thing y'all want to be doing is tussling on the stage and cutting the commercial break. And doing all of that. So, shout out to Chris.
There was a tweet that said, yo, I'm not Chris Rock. Me and Will would have been rolling on the floor embarrassing the whole black community. And I'm with you. They would have had to, I would have caused such a scene in that instance. I would have let everybody know that, and I would have told Will, until I get mine, it's on site everywhere. Right. Golden Globes, Source Awards, BET Awards, red carpets. Anywhere you are, that's where I am. But let me ask you this: if you were Chris Rock, would you sue? Let me ask Soapboxx Nation: if you were Chris Rock, would you sue? Huh?
I'm not suing for what,
brother. I'm getting that moment is going to be replayed for history.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I'm not saying he doesn't have grounds to sue and win. Absolutely, for sure. But
of course, he has ground. Everybody knows he has grounds to sue.
Right.
Would you sue?
Listen, the amount of money that he's going to be making, he's literally going on tour with Kevin Hart. First, he's wrapping up his own solo tour right now.
He just started. The Eagle tour, he just started. Them tickets about $275 right now. Last time I checked.
That and the tour that he's going on Chris Rock this summer, he's going to make whatever money that he would have made in a lawsuit, probably tenfold at this point, going on this tour this year. So, I definitely understand. Unfortunately, this is going to be an infamous moment. But I think I have said that about some things that people didn't care about in 6 months, but I probably don't feel that way in regards to this. I definitely think this would be a point of contention and conversation for a very long time. So,
bet. All right, we got a comment from Soapboxx Nation. Alan, could you do it some justice, please? Lisa,
yes.
What you got to say?
Lisa says Will comes from a lot of trauma, and admittedly so. I think he reacted from a place of trauma. If he had the tools to deal with these issues, I think he would have handled it differently. I
would have gave him some tools. Yeah, I would have given him all the tools, and I would have tenderized Will. He would have been Ali Boumaier. I would have tenderized him so good. He would have been. Hey. You ever give somebody that butt whooping where you put them to sleep? Like you like, oh, you gonna sleep good tonight? Will you whoop a child? That's how bad I would have whooped Will on that stage. Yeah. And I feel bad for Chris Rock. He did handle it a lot better, and I think that's not being talked about enough about the grace that because as soon as Will wouldn't have been able to say, keep your wife's name, or he would have said it once. If Chris Rock is quick-witted, if you look at that video, Chris was like, he said at that moment, Chris Rock had a choice, and he did not choose violence, because he could have sat there and said, he could have roasted Will Smith and embarrassed Will and Jada in front of a live Oscars audience, and it would have been beautiful, poetic, and gold. And Will Smith, he would have brought him up to, if you embarrass me, I'm gonna bring you to the front of the class. Right. I'm gonna bring you to the front of the class and put the hurting on you. So
I think everything is like, well, not everything, but a lot of things are just kind of a byproduct of trauma. Like Chris talked about, essentially being the funny kid, damn near out of trauma because he was bullying. So essentially, he kind of gained this quick-wittedness and ability for people to like him through comedy. Like
why y'all think I'm so quick-witted?
His whole career is kind of based off trauma. So
I haven't always been handsome. I've been fluffy my whole life, and I had to have a defense mechanism where people come with jokes. Okay, so I got jokes too. Now people make jokes about me or whatever we do. Like, people criticize. At that moment, I just think that at that moment he chose wrong. But now he's getting the fallout because they're starting to pull movies. He resigned from the Academy, the association, the Academy. He's losing, whether it's endorsements or movie deals. Chris Rock's booming. So Chris handled it the right way. Now, what I will say is this, and let me go ahead and say this. Will, Jada, nobody gives a damn or wants to hear what y'all got to say on the Red Table Talk. It is going to make it worse.
You're shitting me.
It is going to make it worse. Don't do it. Everything, Will, that is telling you, let me sit at that table with your wife again and have her talk about healing and reconciliation. It is going to be worse. People are going to roast you. And I don't think enough celebrities have people on their team to tell them this. It is not going to land the way you think it is going to land. It's going to be worse. Take the L. And I think that's another thing. And you know what? As we transition, let me go ahead and transition to the moral of the story, right? It's okay, right, in situations when you are out of pocket to take the L. And in this situation, I believe Will Smith and Jada need to just take the L, be humble, because people tell me there's two, I've learned a long time ago, there's two lessons. You have two options in this world. Be humble or be humbled, right? In this situation, right, Chris Rock decided, I'm going to be humble. You slap me, I'm going to just go ahead, do what I got to do, my job. I'm going to be silent. I'm going to tell everybody I'm still processing. And I'm going to go ahead and have humility and have grace and be humble. Will Smith, at this point, is being humbled. And that's his issue. him and his wife have not been humble. Let me ask, who the hell is Jada Pinkett to think she is above criticism, above reproach, and above any of these punchlines? Everybody is fair game. Just because you have the utmost respect for your lady, for your wife, don't mean everybody else got to. So what you did is set a precedent that now anybody that says something about Jada, you gonna smack everybody? Nah, man. What he could have did, if you wanted to basically tell him, yo, it's on site, if I was Will, I would have walked up on stage. That would have been a boss move. I would have walked up on stage. I would have whispered in Chris Rock's ear to say, listen, he could have said the exact same thing he said off stage to him in his ear, like, listen, let that be the last joke you say about my wife. Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, and I don't want to hear no jokes. You said it last year. You said it this year. I'm letting you know the next time you say it, it's on site. Don't play with me. And I would have walked off. And everybody would have saw it in Chris Rock's face, and they would have been speculating with Chris, hey, what did Will Smith say to you? What do we? And it would have been, I guess he would have had a microphone on, so it would have been a hot mic. But that's how I would have handled it. I would have handled it like a boss. I'm gonna pull you to the side and pull your card and tell you, hey, this is it. You don't get another one. Because the next time it's on site. And I'll let him know that and say, if there's a problem, because then if I approach you in a hostile way and you keep my wife's name in your mouth, then you know I'm going to smack the shit out you. I think that's fair game. That's how a man would handle it. You don't go up there acting like you cool and then sucker punching somebody and then your wife throwing you under the bus and talking about he overreacted. You know,
which has not been confirmed, by the way. That is screenshot.
It's been printed. Hold on.
that don't mean nothing. That's screenshot journalism.
Oh no! Now I'm trying to get the source because now
there's no source. Somebody said that. Somebody close to Jay.
It said according to the insider.
What do that mean?
It's a Hollywood insider. These sources this is journalism. This is ironclad. This has been a great week for journalism.
First of all,
international
Hollywood insider.
Alan, go ahead and give us your moral of the story, sir.
Nah, man. Listen, the moral of the story. Man, I just kind of getting off of the foolery and the toolery. The moral of the story is make sure you treat yourself this weekend whenever you get a moment. So, inspired by TJ's expedition to Dallas, which included a good leisure event as well as some good eats. I think if you work hard, if you have been nose to the ground, pedal to the metal all year, make sure you're doing something for yourself. So that's my moral of the story. Just kind of ending it on a self-loving note. You feel me?
Absolutely. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Soapboxx Podcast. Hey, we're doing some big things, right? We got some things coming up, some big things behind the scenes. We thank y'all for rocking with us. Make sure y'all follow us, Soapboxx Podcast. That's Soapboxx Podcast with 2X. I gotta play this. Just because I like the video, I'm gonna play it one more time for y'all because listen, it's funny, but it's not funny. Make sure that this was our 2 players episode. Shout out to Chris Rock and Will Smith and Jada giving us a moment we'll never forget. I like off the wall stuff, but not sucker stuff. So this has been 2 Players Soapboxx Podcast. For Alan York, for Jesse, for Giovanni, for all the Soapboxx Nation, thank y'all for the support and love. This is TJ Legacy, and we are out. Peace.
Tell them what we talking about.